welcome back to Swancast then, everybody. So I'd like to welcome you all today. We've got quite a few people with us today. So we've got Alid, we've got Lee, and we've got John, and we've got a very special guest as well. So welcome Amy, joining us for the discussion today. So where can everyone find you if they want to find you on social media, Amy?
Twitter is probably the best. Twitter is Amy Clement 94, giving away my age.
Fair enough then. Yeah, so go check out Amy on Twitter. She tweets a lot of good Swan stuff, and she's been on the channel before, so really appreciate her joining us today. One person who isn't here today though is because it's his birthday yesterday, and that is Scott, who's been in some recent videos. So he wanted me to give him a shout out for his birthday, so happy birthday, Scott. Hope you're having a good time as much as you can in lockdown. But yeah, I'm sure we'll see you tomorrow after the match.
Can we put like a really horrendous? We've got a horrendous picture on there.
Yeah, the Cabango. The Cabango.
Yeah, Cabango. Okay, so before we get into the pre-match stuff, we're going to talk about, obviously, for the Huddersfield game. I do want to just talk to Amy a little bit about her history of the Swans and how she's sort of seen the season so far. Okay, so what got you into Swansea then, Amy? Like, why did you start supporting the Swans?
Family ties, really. My dad is a massive Swansea fan, has been since he was a kid. He was brought up in Bishopston, so he used to go to the Vetchfield, with his dad and all the family. So yeah, that's sort of the Swansea link. I've still got lots of family there as well, which is nice, and they're all fans as well. So That's really the link. Obviously, when I was much younger, I loved football and I followed a lot of football, but not necessarily the Swans. But I think when we got to the Premier League, like early doors, I think that's when I sort of really turned an interest into it, definitely. Okay,
that's interesting. I know where Bishopston is. I think we're all familiar with the location. So it's a good reference point for us to sort of relate to. Just focusing on this season then, because as I said before, you're welcome to come back on and we'll discuss more about maybe the past and relations with the team then. But just on this season, how do you think we have been so far?
I've thoroughly enjoyed this season, I'm not going to lie, and particularly because of the lockdown situation. Like, I've been furloughed since March, and I don't normally have the time to watch the amount of games that I have. I've watched pretty much every single game, which has been really nice, actually, because I don't normally get the chance to do that. But I've been really impressed with how we've sort of handled it. I think coming out of last season, like really picking up some form and making the playoffs, I think there was quite a lot of pressure. But actually, I think we've done better than what I expected. I sort of thought, we were all thinking playoffs, definitely, because we just made playoffs last time. You sort of go, well, we definitely need to make playoffs this time. But actually, we've sort of overperformed for that. And I think that's great.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So yeah, we've done really well this season. I would say what you said about the pressure, like, that's completely right. We made the playoffs, and we kind of snuck in last season, so we kind of expect maybe to get in a little bit more comfortably this season. And we have done that really well. We're obviously fighting for automatic promotion spots. So as a result of that, obviously the team's been playing quite well. So who would you say in the team is kind of standing out for you to reach this point?
Bennett, definitely. I think every time I listen to any sort of media on the Swans, everyone points him out. And I think very subtly, he's such a vital part of our defence and our sort of record of clean sheets and everything. I think he's experienced, which is helpful with, Gay and Cabango being so young. Like, they're 20 years old, like so young. Yeah. I think he's been a great match. Well, definitely a match for Joe Rodon when we lost him. I think. Otherwise, obviously, I've had a bit of a turbulent relationship with Matt Grimes. I have said before, like, that I'm not impressed with him, but I think the last sort of 3 months after, he had that spell where he didn't start a couple of times. Do you remember?
Yeah. I think it was like October, maybe.
Yeah, I think I was always quite hard on him, I think, but he's really changed my mind recently. Like I said, with Horahan coming in, he's had a slightly different role, particularly off like set pieces and stuff like that, which I guess has enabled him to score a bit more. Some of the amazing goals that he's whipped out of nowhere. And I think Connor Roberts as well, to be honest. I think he's a fan favourite, isn't he? he doesn't really put a foot wrong. So you have to give him credit where it's due.
I think everyone is loving Connor Roberts at the moment, especially after the last game as well. Like, brilliant defensive performance and his goal. We touched on it obviously in our last video, but he's definitely doing very well. One last final question then. Can we go up this season?
I don't really see why we can't. I keep forgetting how long there is left. I think I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, and every sort of result I'm getting very attached to, but I think that we've got a long way to go. And a lot of things have to happen for us to do that, but it's definitely possible. If we keep playing the way we are, I don't see why we can't. But it's whether it's that sort of automatics or playoffs. Playoffs terrify me, so it would be nice to go up automatically, obviously.
I agree with you. The playoffs are,
Yes.
especially with Cardiff coming into such good form now, they have potential to sneak in. I would just hate it if we're third and they're sixth, because I don't know if I can deal with that.
Imagine if that had to happen. We have to play them in the play. It just wouldn't be fun.
No.
It's been threatening for years, isn't it, that it's going to happen at some point for us to play Cardiff in the playoffs. Even when we went up, they were in the playoffs and stuff. It's coming at some point.
Yeah,
it's so much of a lottery as well with the playoffs, and I mean, you always get that one team that comes in off the outside as well, last minute, wins 6 or 7 on the bounce, and then it's so unpredictable. The playoffs is brilliant if you go up via the playoffs, but the heartache if you go out in is unbelievable.
I wouldn't want it twice in a row as well, with the last year being, especially to Brentford, like, that was painful enough.
The thing is, if you've been sat in and around that area the entire season, and then someone just comes from 8th or something like that in, and then just wipes you out.
Yeah.
Well, it happened to Forest. It happened to Forest last year with us, didn't it? Down to the last day.
Last game.
Yeah. Okay. So based on what you said, then, like, it's definitely stuff we could expand on at a future date. Lee loves Bennett, so he'll agree with you on that point. And as for Grimes, I know you said you've come round now, but we could have discussions about Matt Grimes and what he's done. Like, I was trying to stick up for him earlier in the season, I'll put my hands up, but I'm glad that he's sort of come good and I guess proved me right in a way. But hopefully he'll continue. Looking, a little bit more at the present now. We'll talk about the match that's going to happen tomorrow, so Saturday the 20th of February. Obviously a 3 o'clock kickoff, and it's away at Huddersfield. So a little bit of a form guide before we sort of discuss our thoughts on what's going to happen. So obviously Swansea are top of the form table at the moment, actually joint top if you base it on the last 5 games, joint top with Cardiff, with 4 wins and a draw since Mick McCarthy's come in, obviously showing their change of fortunes. So we've taken 13 points in that period. Huddersfield have 3 losses and 2 draws, and they actually haven't won a game in 2021. So the last win was coming against Blackburn on the 29th of December. So they're not really doing great. However, it is worth pointing out that they are the only team to beat us at home in the league this season, winning 2-1 when we played them earlier this year. I believe we conceded a poor goal from a corner and another long-range strike. And Andre Ayew scored a penalty in that match as well. When I looked at the stats as well, it did look like we were the better team, which could give us confidence. But I said we missed 4 out of 5 big chances when I looked at Sofa score. So make of that what you will. But okay, we'll go around everyone and see what we think about tomorrow then. So Lee, I'll go with you first because of your little delay in the mic.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. Like, Huddersfield are one of them horrible sides to play, and they never seem to be in form. They never seem to do well. But then, like I said, they beat us at home. I put them in like the Barnsley bracket just so you don't know what you're going to get. Short turnaround for us after Wednesday, but I still think with the defence, he's going to have to change it up a bit. But I still think, I'm saying it all season now, like a stuck record. If you don't concede goals, then we're always going to be in the game. So I think tight game, but probably just Swans sneak it.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight game. I think. John, have got anything to add on that?
I think Huddersfield they're very much in the mould of Nottingham Forest, and I mean it's going to be a tough, scrappy game, I think. But it's a championship. I mean, anyone can beat anyone, but I'm fairly confident we'll get a result. To be honest, I think it is going to be very much like it was against Forest. I mean, it's a tough, scrappy game, but I'm confident. Yeah.
I think, like others have said, I think it's going to be scrappy, probably. As Lee said, though, we can, as long as we don't concede, we'll be fine. Hopefully we'll sort of tidy up on going forward which we just didn't have against Forest.
I'm fairly confident as well. I think I would say we're a better team now than we were in October when we played them last. And I think I had a look at the highlights earlier. I don't think Bennett was playing. So
he did have a period where he was injured, I think, didn't he?
And the defence looked a bit odd. And I think similarly with the, even like Jamal Lowe, I think I said this last time I spoke to you, I think his form has just got so much better since then. He could have scored in that game and he didn't, whereas, he may be able to now,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling...
I mean, sorry to jump in. Didn't Gorka start that the return leg of this as well? So I mean, I think our team is I think it's an improvement on the last time we played them. So yeah, I'm confident we'll get something tomorrow.
Bennett wasn't in the team. It was Norton, Cabango, Goon.
That's quite unusual to have those three together, huh?
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point to raise, though. Obviously, Bennett and the experience he offers is going to be massive for us, I think. So hopefully we'll see a different result when we go into this tomorrow. That was obviously early days in the season, and I guess we're still finding our feet a little bit. Now we've sort of established ourselves as a good defensive team in the league. We're sort of one of the contenders, I guess, even to win the league at this point. So definitely, I think we've got to go in expecting really a result and an improvement from the last game.
I think it won't take much to be an improvement on Wednesday, though. I don't think we, the fact we managed to win is great. It was a bit embarrassing.
You've got to win scrappy when you do after.
I know. Very great.
I think defensively, I mean, although Forest had a lot of the ball, I think defensively we were right. But going forward, I agree. We were poor going forward. We didn't offer much going forward against Forest.
Okay, so I've had a little bit of a look at Huddersfield's team before the match, and I got some players I've picked out. 3 players I've picked out as ones to watch if you like. So there's Fraser Campbell. So he's got obviously links with Cardiff, and if he scores a goal, he's gonna enjoy it for that reason. You've got Isaac Mbenza. He scored in the last match. He's a kind of like a tricky winger. I think he's quite a lively one to watch. And Juninho Bakuna, who again seems he's young, quite a tricky player. Any of you got any other Huddersfield players that you think?
I think Alex Pritchard is one to watch. He's very much a Grimes midfielder in a way. I think he was at Tottenham when he was a youngster as well. He's very combative, very up and down. I think he could arguably, on his day, get into one of the top teams in the Championship, in my opinion. He's a very good player. But yeah, I'd echo the other 3, definitely, especially Fraser Campbell. It's written in the stars that he's going to score tomorrow. I don't want to jinx it, but...
Yeah. Well, I hope he doesn't score.
Just...
Any other players then, guys? What were we thinking? I've not really seen much of Huddersfield.
Oh, sorry, Miles' mind again. No, I was just going to say I had Alex Pritchard in my head as well, and then and John said he had definitely a bit of quality there in the midfield. They seem they've always been one of them sides. They're all quite robust, and they always seem to have like 6'7" centre halves all the time and big midfielders in there.
Yeah.
I think Alex Pritchard adds a touch of class. So I think that's what it's one to watch, definitely.
From when I've played Football Manager in the past, he's always been a decent player to sign. But that's as far as my sort of experience with him goes. But obviously that game is not usually too far away from being quite accurate. Okay, looking at the Swans team then, would we change anything from the last team selection? Bearing in mind maybe it was a poor performance. So Amy, I'll start with you this time. Would you bring any different players in? What would you do?
I think so. I think from what I've been seeing, people are screaming for Morris to start, which I think I probably agree with. It's a game we should win. We're solid defensively. Like, why not try something different up the top? Otherwise, it's this constant debate of which midfield to play, because they all offer so many different things. Fulton being much more sort of like, I don't want to say aggressive, but you know what I mean. Physical is probably the word I'm looking for. Dan's being a bit more creative. Like, I don't know. Maybe put Smith back on the pitch, see what happens. Smith and Morris maybe in, I'd say.
Smith and Morris to come in then. Lee, would you make any other changes?
No, not for me. I'm exactly the same as Amy. I think Smith comes in just because of the short turnaround as well, and I think he just offers, like I said about Huddersfield usually being a physical side. I think if you have Smith and Fulton and then flip your coin between Grimes and Horahan, I think Smith comes in, and then Or maybe not. Maybe someone else drops out. But that's what I would do anyway. I think Fulton and not Fulton and Smith, just in front of the back 3 or 5, where we're going to spin it, just to get a bit of physicality in there, especially away from home. And then same for me. I think Morris comes in. Actually, I feel a bit guilty because like Lowe hasn't necessarily done anything wrong. I know like everybody's calling for Morris to start, but I think just need to mix it up. And I think Lowe has been quite quiet last couple of games. And what we've seen of Morris, he looks good. So I'd like to see him just have a run out from the start.
Yeah, definitely. I think I would combat you with the midfielders there. Like I do agree, maybe bringing Smith in as an option, but I think with Huddersfield's form, we need to look to be more attacking. So I'd arguably play Grimes and Horahan and one of Smith or Fulton. But that's just me, because I just think those two have definitely been scoring for a start, and I don't even know if I could pick which one I would drop, to be honest. I would agree with Morris starting. I think the pacing behind, especially in an away game, from the start, I think we need to see what he can do really, and see if he is going to be good enough for the rest of the season which I think he will be, but obviously we need to see it to see what he can offer. I've got a little bit of a point to raise as well when the other two have spoke about their team selection, so I won't talk about that now, but that is in regards to one of the wing backs, so we'll talk about that in a second. But Alid, would you make any other changes then?
Probably not. I'm thinking Lowe maybe needs a rest, so it would be nice to see Morris maybe do a run out. Someone mentioned it the other day that I think they're quite similar, and if anything, Morris is probably maybe slightly faster, but you can never know that unless they go a foot race. And my question with the Corey Smith thing is, although he is technically fit, is he fit enough to do a 90 minutes? And obviously we have got the increased subs, so it's an option. But and I agree with you. I don't know. I'd say Grimes and Horahan because they've scored, and then probably say Fulton or Smith in the other position.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he would be fit enough, maybe not to do 90 minutes, but I don't think it would matter because you'd expect to see whichever one doesn't start subbed on. Usually that would be the case. John, anything you'd like to add then?
I think jumping on the Lowe Morris thing, I think it can only be a good thing for Lowe as well. I mean, obviously he wouldn't want to get dropped, but if Morris is to come on and put in a worldy performance, obviously it gives Lowe that motivation then to sort of up his game and train that 10% harder and sort of put himself back in the mix. Not that he's played himself out of the mix, he'd be really unlucky to be dropped, but
yeah.
Like you say, it's good to have that competitive edge, to have the options there. But yeah, I think Manning has been unlucky. I know we're thinking of who should come in and who shouldn't. I think he hasn't really done anything wrong personally, and I think it's just Bidwell's performances have sort of kept him out of the side. But I'd like to see Manning get some game time tomorrow, and I don't think Kyle Norton can play 2 games in 4 or 5 days. So I'd probably bring Ben Cabango in. But other than that, you don't change a winning side really. The more changes you make, the more you sort of, potentially disrupt, a winning side. But yeah, I'd like to see Manning get some game time. Yeah,
I think I touched on it in the Forest video, and I said like we were so stale in that game. Like I haven't seen us make that sort of performance for ages. But not jumping the gun, but I think you're going to have to mix it up. Like Amy said, we've got so much more of the season. I was surprised actually of how much we've actually got left. This running, he's going to have to make changes along the way. We've probably played the same side for 3/4 of the season, barring a couple of changes. So I think I have to mix it up just here and there. Maybe Morris comes in, maybe Smith comes in, and Horahan drops. He's going to have to just make changes, especially with the tight fixture list we've got as well in February. I don't think we have a week gap now until April or something.
Yeah, they were struggling to fit in the postponed games, weren't they? Like, there's not much option for the games that have been postponed to actually fit them in. But John, I'm glad you mentioned Manning and Bidwell, because I said about the point I wanted to raise with the wing backs, and it was about Jake Bidwell in particular. And I'm not saying it from my point of view, but I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, on Facebook, saying that they really don't think he's that good. So I've just got a question I want to maybe open a debate about, really. And it'd be interesting to see how Amy thinks about this as well. But is Jake Bidwell sort of like, are his 7 assists, which he's got this season, which I think is the highest for us in the competition this year, are they sort of like masking an average player or an average performance from him? Like, I was just asking the question. I'm not saying myself I think he should be dropped or he's been poor, But obviously there is a section of the fan base out there that thinks he's not good enough. So, are those 7 assists sort of like hiding that?
I think that would be slightly harsh. I mean, obviously, if a player's performing, you don't sort of drop them, but at the same time, I think you could argue his assists are sort of masking, but I think he's solid defensively as well. See, and obviously for me, I might be old fashioned, and maybe when we're playing 5 at the back, the wings backs need to bomb on. But I think a defender first and foremost, or especially a wing back, needs to be solid defensively, and I think that's one box that sort of Bidwell definitely ticks. The amount of tackles he flies into, and he knocks people up in the air, and it's brilliant to see. It's old fashioned in a way, but I would say that's slightly harsher. But then again, I think Manning does need to get more game time, and I think he's been a little bit sort of unlucky not to have more minutes. So I mean, it's one of those conundrums. I suppose it's good from Cooper's point of view. I mean, but I rate Jake Bidwell. Yeah, I think he's a very good player for us.
Fair enough. So what do you think, Amy? What do you make of like that as a dilemma?
Yeah, I think I'd agree actually in that I think he is a very good player, and I haven't seen much to go against that, to be honest. I don't know, maybe I'm looking at the wrong things, but when he gets that ball down the corner, he gets it into the box, and that's his job, and he gets back when he needs to. But I also see the side of we haven't seen Manning play enough yet to have a kind of debate about whether he's better than Bidwell or not. I don't know that yet. I don't know if anyone else has an opinion on that, but it would be good to see Manning play a bit more and see what he can offer. But from what I've seen, I don't think he has as much pace. I might be wrong, which always makes me a bit nervous. But apart from that, yeah, I want to see Manning a bit more, but I think it's harsh to say Bidwell's not good enough.
Yeah, no, not much to add on what Amy and John said, really. I haven't really seen anything that warrants calling for him to be dropped and stuff. I think like when Manning has come in, he's done well. He hasn't really done anything wrong, but I think like Bidwell's been solid all season. I haven't really seen him have like a poor game. I thought he's been awful. Someone might remember like a game where he's been bad, but not one that I can remember. And interesting, actually, I was listening to the fans forum the other night when Cooper was on it, and someone asked a question about selection, like how hard it was, and how he got onto the 3-5-2, how he sort of stumbled on the formation. And we might talk about that in another episode. But something he touched on was he said about Bidwell playing centre half and wing back and left back. He sort of said like, Bidwell can play anywhere, so he's probably one of the players that he trusts the most. Probably him and Grimes. Connor Roberts are probably like just first on his team sheet at the moment, and you probably would do that in in the championship the way it is. If you've got players are going to give you a certain performance every week, then he's going to play them, and I think Bidwell is one of them for Cooper.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's an interesting point of view as well. To say obviously Cooper just trusts him to do his job, and I guess you can't really say he's let him down. What do you think, Alid?
Yeah, I agree with everything that's said. Don't think he's warranted anything that makes him get dropped. He's been playing well. Maybe for Manning, there's a bit of a confidence gap in comparison to Bidwell. I think Bidwell could be, very confident, very sort of there, although he's been getting played, whereas Manning hasn't been. But I know there was like that one mistake against Man City, who are obviously class, and it's obviously difficult in that situation. But we brought it up. He made a similar mistake in a different game. Manning did, and yeah, I think I'd like to see him more, but I don't think he's going to be able to take the spot off Bidwell unless there's a resting, like a rest phase or something like that for Bidwell. Because he's obviously 27, but
for me, I think Manning is he's a good attacking player. Maybe he's not as good defensively. So it comes back to, I think, what John was saying earlier about him being a sound defender first and foremost. But having said that as well, I was calling for Manning to get more game time, but I didn't think he played that well against Manchester City. That could be controversial, but I just thought he really disrupted our attacking movements. He did good defensively, to be fair to him, but he just couldn't keep the ball. When we passed it to him and he was giving it away all the time, his first touch was awful, and his passing in that game was really bad. So I think he had a poor game then. You've got to give it a little bit of leeway because of who he was against, of course. With Bidwell, I think obviously last season I would have said he was quite poor, until we changed the formation at least. But then we've signed Manning, so I guess it's kind of competition, because we never really had any competition for him. Declan John was around for a bit, but he kind of went, and then was never really in the picture. And then Kyle Norton was sort of being used there, but he's like a utility left back. He's not there for that to be his number one spot. So maybe Bidwell now is like you said, he's got confidence from playing regular, but he's also knowing that if he doesn't perform, then Manning is going to come in. And Manning was an exciting player at QPR and highly rated, so it's not like we've just signed some youngster to try and say, oh yeah, you got pressure for your position now. Manning did it at QPR and was highly rated there. So it is an interesting debate. I'm sure we can touch on it again at a later date.
Just jumping on that Manning, the positional thing as well. I'm sure Manning can play centre midfield as well, or
yeah,
I'm sure he had a couple of stints at QPR or a couple of games at QPR playing centre midfield. So it adds that versatility again, like we were saying with the Bidwell thing, being able to play centre back. So again, it all adds the extra option. So yeah, it must be a good.
Cooper
good
said when Byers went out on loan that part of the reason he allowed Byers to go was because Manning can cover centre midfield if they were short. Yeah. I was just going to move on to our predictions, obviously, because it's just a pre-match. I don't want it to go on too long, that's all. But okay, we'll start with the guest like we normally do when we have predictions. So we look for the result, the score, and the goal scorers, and I take an over and we do a little mini table. But what are you saying for this match?
Every time I guess, I get it wrong, so I'm not having that much hope here. But I'm going to go with a solid.
No, if you can guess, Huddersfield win.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a solid 2-0. And I'm going to go with the Cabango header because we haven't had one for a while. And Anna Morris. He's going to get his goal.
I keep saying Morris like every week, and it's just not happening.
hopefully tomorrow's the day.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Okay, Lee, go on. What are you thinking?
I want to say 0-0, but I'm going to change my mind. I change my mind a bit because I'm out of here. So I'll go 1-0 Swans. And I'll say Ayew.
So you're changing your mind because you've had a beer? Is that what you said?
I'm feeling confident now. I'm just extra level of confidence. Yeah. So we go 1-0 Ayew. We'll take that.
Well, he scored against them in the last game, so hopefully he can score against them again, but this time we don't concede the soft goals.
Did you see that penalty though? I was watching the highlights back of that earlier. Dodgy, it was the one where he done a massive stutter step. I'm surprised the ref even allowed that, if I'm honest. But
we won't talk about that. We've had enough stuff happen against us in the past. But yeah. Okay, John, seeing as you mentioned the penalty, what were you saying?
I'm going big, guys. 4-0 Swansea.
Oh my God.
Ayew, brace, Morris one, and Corey Smith's going to come on in the 80th and he's going to bag one right at the end.
So you're going big? You're going to put your money where your mouth is on that one?
Well, I'll be busy losing bets elsewhere, mate, probably.
Well, only one league game, I believe, this season we've scored more than 2 goals. I think that still is accurate, but hopefully we'll see a second. Alid, what do you think?
Sort of struggling with predicting this one.
Yeah.
Because of the points that were made earlier. I think it's a scrappy game, but if we've sorted out our going forward issue, I think we could be quite good. I'm going to say 2-1 to the Swans.
Looks like we're going for a clean sweep of wins then. Who's going to score?
I'm going to jump on the train. Morris and Bennett from the corner, I guess.
Lee's been calling for a Bennett goal for like forever. Okay, I'm going to go.
I can't wait for him to score.
Yeah,
it is going to come. It's going to come. It's surely, yes, I agree with that.
We are getting a couple of defenders scoring headers, aren't we? So, surely it's his turn soon. I was going to say 2-0 as well, so I guess I'm agreeing with Amy, but I'm not going to go with Cabango. I'll probably say Morris because I have been saying him and I just want it to happen. I don't know who to pick for the second one. We haven't had many goals from our forwards lately. It's been midfielders a lot. So I think I'm going to go with Morris and Ayew. Sort of say, look, we are still scoring and important to the team. So 2-0 to the Swans, Morris and Ayew. Hopefully one of us is right because it means we've won the game. I'll have to get the predictions off the other boys. But if we don't win the game, I don't think anyone's getting any points. So.
I mean, I don't want to sound harsh, but Wickham put 3 past Huddersfield's defence only 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I'm getting more confident as the call's going on, guys. I think we're going to walk home tomorrow.
Well, I hope so, because otherwise you just put your neck on the line now.
Yeah, well, it is what it is, isn't it?
I don't know about.
Let me know in the comments today.
I don't know about anyone else, but I just hate the thought of conceding any goals now. I don't know why. It's almost like work.
Yeah, no,
I don't know why. I'm obsessed with it.
clean sheet's as good as a win at the moment.
They call it the Freddie Woodman mindset, I think. He's not used to conceding goals either, I don't think.
That's another stat I saw earlier. Freddie Woodman has got the same amount of clean sheets as the person who had the most clean sheets last season in the whole league. So how many games did you say were left, Amy? Because he's got a long way to go to smash that record.
Loads at 18 or something, isn't it?
Yeah. So whoever had the most clean sheets in Championship last season, we're already at that point. So one more, and you'd like to think he's going to get the... by the end, he's going to get the Golden Glove, if that's a thing in this league. I'm not sure. But up Freddie Woodman, I guess. Okay, well, it's been a good chat, guys. Really thank you all for coming on. Thank you very much, Amy, once again.
Thanks for having me.
That's all right. You're welcome anytime, and hopefully we'll have you on again in the near future.
Yes, please, yeah.
But before we do go, again, do you want to remind everyone where they can find you?
Sure, it's Amy Clement 94 on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously we are Swanscast on Twitter. We're also now on Spotify, same name, Swanscast. So if anyone wants to head over there, we are uploading our podcasts that we've already done, and then we'll be uploading new ones when they are, when we record them, probably next week or so. So not the pre-match or post-matches, but just the longer episodes that we do put out there. So thank you all for coming, guys. As always, subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with what we do. Leave a like on the video and engage in the comments. Let us know if you think our predictions are right, or if you think we're talking rubbish and think you can do better. Let us know in the comments and who you think is going to score and all the rest of it. And we shall catch you in the next video. So thank you very much for watching, and see you all later, guys.
Cheers, boys and girls.
Thank you.